Hello and welcome to Wisdom Trek. This is Guthrie Chamberlain and I'm your guide to wisdom and creating a living legacy. Thank you for joining us for our 7-day-a-week, 7 Minutes of Wisdom podcast. This is day 120 of our trek, and yesterday we started a commentary on the book of Proverbs with the background and introduction to the book. Now we won't go straight through the book of Proverbs all at once, but we will intermix the commentary with other daily wisdom nuggets. Today we will look at why studying the book of Proverbs is so important for wisdom and then lay out the 6 sections within the book. Before we get started though, I want to remind you of the drawing in celebration of our 100th day of Wisdom Trek. We will be drawing on October 5th and giving away 7 Wisdom Trek t-shirts. There's only 3 more days to register, and you can register once per day. We are recording our podcast from our studios at the Big House in Marietta, Ohio tonight. And today we drove to Newcastle, Pennsylvania to see our newest grandchild, Evelyn Grace. She is the cutest little girl, and her proud parents, Barnabas and Leisha, are doing very well. Of course, if you want to see a couple pictures of her, please check out today's Wisdom Trek journal at wisdom-trek.com. And today let's sit back and enjoy our campfire, which is burning brightly. And as we listen to the crackling of the wood, it almost sounds like it's part of our conversation, sharing the nuggets of wisdom that we are consuming. As we continue to share more introduction of the book of Proverbs, you start to contemplate, what is the purpose of the book of Proverbs? As your mentor and your guide, I strongly believe if you desire to gain wisdom, and if you desire a life built on wisdom, then Proverbs must be the very foundation for your life. I'm going to keep our discussion of Proverbs a little bit more conversational, as if we were literally sitting next to each other, because through the magic of this modern technology, I am there right beside you. If you have any comments or questions, please share them on the comment section of our daily journal pages on wisdom-trek.com. And as I share the wisdom of Proverbs, I will also weave in some related scriptures as they apply. So let's get started on our time together for today. I will ask and then answer 5 questions on our trek today. Question number 1. How do we gain wisdom in our lives? Since you are in this wisdom trek with us, you have taken proactive steps already to gain wisdom. Congratulations, and thank you for trekking with me. If you feel that you are lacking wisdom, as I do in many areas of my life, then all you need to do is to ask God for wisdom, as instructed by James, the half-brother of Jesus, in his letter written to the dispersed believers in the 1st century A.D. This is taken from James chapter 1, verses 5 through 8. If you need wisdom, ask our generous God, and he will give it to you. He will not rebuke you for asking. But when you ask him, be sure that your faith is in God alone. Do not waver, for a person with divided loyalty is as unsettled as a wave on the sea that is blown and tossed by the wind. Such people should not expect to receive anything from the Lord. Their loyalty is divided between God and the world, and they are unstable in everything that they do. Question number 2. Why is Proverbs so important? Proverbs accomplishes something that no other biblical book does. It simply compiles numerous short instructions for living an effective life on earth. While some of the other books of the Bible articulate profound theological truths, lengthy narratives of triumph and failure, or prophetic preaching to a disobedient people, Proverbs concerns itself completely with instructing people in the path of wisdom. The writers of the book recognized the various circumstances of a person's life and provided principles to apply to the variety of situations rather than instructions to follow in only a few specific instances. Question number 3. What is the main theme or idea of Proverbs? Proverbs states the theme explicitly very early in the book, in chapter 1, verse 7. Fear of the Lord is the foundation of true knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and discipline. The fear of the Lord here refers to our viewing him, or God, with the respect he deserves. It means living our lives in light of what we know of him, holding him in the highest estimation and depending on him with humble trust. Only then, Proverbs teaches, will we discover knowledge and wisdom, as is repeated in the 9th chapter, verse 10. Fear of the Lord is the foundation of wisdom. Knowledge of the Holy One results in good judgment. In the writing of Proverbs, Solomon hoped that his readers would attain practical righteousness in all things, and we would do this by living our lives under the authority and direction of God. He specifically explains the book's purpose, and we will look at that in the 1st chapter in verses 2 through 6. Which is focusing on imparting understanding that would impact every facet of our life. Much of the book emphasizes listening to others so that we might learn and then apply the combined knowledge of those who have gone before us, such as our parents or elders, or you might think mentors in our case. And we should do this to unique circumstances of our own lives. Wisdom then involves appropriating a measure of humility, first before God and then before others. If instead we decide to speak rashly rather than listen attentively, well, Proverbs deals with that too, such as in chapter 12, verse 15, which says, "Fools think their own way is right, but the wise listen to others." And chapter 13, verse 3, "Those who control their tongues will have a long life. Opening your mouth can ruin everything." And question number 4, how do we apply the book of Proverbs? Well, first of all, you have to read it. Second, you have to live it. Proverbs contain some of the most applicable nuggets of truth in all of the Bible. Most of Proverbs are pithy statements brimming over with imagery of the real world. This approach allows us to see very clearly how any particular proverb might be applied to any number of everyday situations that we encounter. From getting out of bed in the morning to building a strong foundation in our relationships with others. Proverbs reminds us that God concerns himself not just with the big cataclysmic events of life, but even those mundane or invisible moments in our lives as well, as we see almost every day. Are you following God, even in the seemingly small circumstances? Allow Proverbs to refocus your attention on the hidden moments of your life. And our 5th question today is, how is the book of Proverbs organized? Well, we can break the book of Proverbs down into 6 primary sections. The first section is Solomon's Wise Lessons, which covers chapters 1 through 9. The second section, the Proverbs or Wise Words of Solomon, Proverbs chapter 10 through the first half of Proverbs 22. The third section is 30 Wise Lessons, and this is covered in the remaining chapter of 22 through chapter 24. The fourth section is more of Solomon's Proverbs or Wise Words, and these were copied out by the King Hezekiah, and this covers chapter 25 through 29. The fifth section is the Puzzles of Agur and Lemuel, and this is covered in Proverbs chapter 30 and the first part of chapter 31. And then finally, the sixth section is a poem about a perfect wife, and this is the last part of chapter 31. Because of today's campfire discussion, we now know that the book of Proverbs is important. We know the theme of the book, and we know how it's organized. We also learned how we can gain wisdom, so join us tomorrow for another day of Wisdom Trek, Creating a Legacy. And tomorrow we will begin our trek along the trail of Proverbs chapter 1. And that'll finish our podcast for today. Remember to listen to your daily dose of wisdom on wisdom-trek.com, iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Spreaker, or YouTube. And please share Wisdom Trek with your family and friends so they can come along with us each day on our trek. The journal for today's trek can be found at wisdom-trek.com. And most importantly, I want to thank you for allowing me to be your guide, your mentor, but the very most important of these is your friend, as I serve you through the Wisdom Trek podcast and journal each day. And as we take this trek together, let us always live abundantly or fully, love unconditionally, listen intentionally, learn continuously, lend to others generously, lead with integrity, and leave a living legacy each day. This is Guthrie Chamberlain reminding you to keep moving forward, enjoy your journey, and create a great day every day. See you tomorrow.